Hello and welcome to First Look. Look with two zeros. I'm Young John and today we're going to look at AOC's Agon mechanical gaming keyboard, the GK500 with Outemu blue switches. Now if you know of AOC, they make great gaming monitors, a lot of them actually, and I guess they've decided to try their hand at making keyboards and other peripherals. This is how I got the unit, so I have no unboxing to do. Looking directly at the product then, this is a full keyboard. It's got Outemu blue switches underneath it. It's tactile and audible with the feedback. And that goes for all the keys across this whole keyboard. On the top, you have a braided cable that's already attached, and this length is about 6 feet long, which is pretty standard. And on the back, you find dabs of rubber to keep it from slipping around. You have 1, 2, and 3 dabs, and you also have 2 feet, which lets you either lay it flat or give you a little bit of height there. Other than that, the make of it is mostly plastic, but it does have a metal top here. There's also a wrist rest that comes with it, and the interesting thing is this thing is magnetic, so if you come close, it just attaches itself exactly in place. The material is hard plastic, but it does give you some added height for your wrists. And when you need to take it off, you just pull it away. You saw that, right? It kind of like pulled the keyboard as it was pulling away, like that. Interesting. One thing I'm not liking about this keyboard when I first looked at it was the lettering job. The type that they used on the keycaps isn't the best, so if we go a little bit tighter, I'll show you what I mean. If you look at this letter O, that's an ugly O, and that's an ugly 0. It's kind of ugly. If you look at the caps on the left, the spacing between the letters is kind of uneven, so it's just like you're trying to read it, but it's hard to read. Already not the best first impression, the lettering isn't the best, but to their credit, they use standard cross-type switches, so you can replace them with any third-party keycap set that you wish if you want. I'm gonna plug this guy in to my already on laptop. And actually, you know what? Let me take out a couple of these keys so you can zoom in and see the colors on that. So you see the lights, super bright, but the keycaps themselves are, they don't let the light through. I'm gonna try this again. Okay, so here we go. Plugged in. Look at this. And it's showing off all different sorts of colors to do the check on itself for the lights, I suppose. And yeah, it looks nice. It's really, really bright. There's 4 levels of lighting. You can set the brightness by holding function. And where are we? I took out the keys. Okay, reset. So what I did was I put the keys back in this because this controls the brightness levels and I wanted to show that to you. And I removed some of the other keys instead. So you have 4 levels of brightness, which is controlled by function key and up and down arrow. So this is number 4, 3, 2, and 1, which is off. So off, 2, 3, 4. There are oodles of key controls too, so I'm gonna zoom in and show you what they're about. You have 5 dedicated macro keys from F1 to F5. You have 3 volume keys, mute, volume down and up. And you have media keys, previous, next, pause, play, and stop. We're gonna do some tests, and first we're gonna do some typing. This is a keyboard typing test of the Agon GK500. So when it comes to typing, these blue switches do an excellent job. They give you good amount of tactile feedback, and you can type right along without making so many errors. The biggest problem I have though with this keyboard, and I'll tell you right now, every single time I tap any key, ting, 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 there's no dampening in this keyboard. So every time you tap a key, it rings and tings the metal top plate. It's so high-pitched that it gives me a headache every time I tap a key. There's another issue with this keyboard, and it just might be a defective switch, because whenever I tap the T key, it kind of catches. It doesn't go down immediately, it just stops before it goes down. So if I'm typing fast, I'll mistype because the T doesn't go down when I press it. So this just might be an issue with my unit, but if that didn't happen, other than the tinging, this would make a good typing keyboard. But enough of that, let's go do our second test, and this is gaming. With my headset on, I don't hear the tinging, so gaming is perfectly fine. The keyboard is NK rollover. I can press as many keys as I want and they'll all register correctly. It's 100% anti-ghosting, so it won't register any keys that I didn't type. The polling rate is gaming approved at 1000 Hz, and that can be adjusted using the software that's provided by AOC, which we're gonna look at next actually. Let's open up G menu. This is the customization software for AOC products such as our keyboard. The product we have is shown on the right side, our GK500 keyboard. It's also shown as an option on the top and the left side. You also have home, which is your initial starting point, and you have macros too. Let's go back to keyboard. And here you can select different profiles. You can make new profiles by clicking add. You can save it by going export, and you can always rename it. Right now we have a setting called Sea Green. Now you don't see the colors here until you click on lighting effects. Now amongst these four options, lighting effects is going to be your go-to. Right now we have a static color, and you have an option of about a dozen different settings. So for example, there's breathing, and you can see a simulation of what's happening with your keyboard. It's a red color on the simulator and also a red color on the keyboard here. Now there are some options that have more options. So for example, you go to wave and you have wave of color going from left to right, and you can select right to left. And some of them have these kinds of different options. If I do a single color, it'll do a single color of your choosing, like orange or blue. And if you click on apply, it will save all of these settings you made into that profile. But I don't want wave. I want to go back to static. Now you can also do different brightness levels using the software, or you can use the keyboard down here using the function key. So it's function and up and down for the 4 levels. This is level 1, which is off, level 2, 3, and 4. This is the maximum brightness. And the brightness didn't change here, but if I click on apply, it should, no, it doesn't. Okay, there we go. So This software is not perfect. This is software version. If you click on the upper right-hand corner in this little cogwheel, you can see the version. This is version 3.19. It's not perfect though. There's a couple of problems as you've seen in the brightness, and there's another problem which I'll show you later. Like I said, you have a lot of different kind of options. You have Ripple, which is cool. You have React, which is cool. And you have W-Wave, which is just kind of crazy and makes your eyes go, what's happening? So let me go back to static. Now I'm going to select another one called Subnautica. Now this is, let's cancel because I don't want to save the whatever I did before. I'm going to profile cut Subnautica. I did a custom setup, which is right here. And I made these WASD game controls red, and the different tool settings 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 yellow, and the jump yellow as well. So for example, you can click blue and then you can click a key to make that blue. You can see in the simulator, and you can also see on your key that the colors have changed. If you unclick it, the colors will go away, like so. But you can set different color keys using the custom setup here. There's something called light effect sync. So if you click on that, it'll synchronize your different peripherals. So if you have a keyboard, maybe you have a headset or even a mouse, you'll see it here and it'll synchronize the colors, but we only have a keyboard. So we're just gonna hold on to whatever colors we have. Now there's an option called sensitivity. Here you have your polling rate up to 1,000. You have your choice of 500, 250, and 125. Just leave it at 1,000. This is delay, like your key delay. If you hold on to G, you know how fast it is, and then the delay before it starts typing. Just leave this alone and leave it at 1,000 and you'll be fine. The final tab is customize. And under here you have game mode, and you can disable the Windows key, and you can disable Alt F4, which is to turn off the machine or turn off programs. We have a problem though. This keyboard is NK rollover. However, they messed up in the software and they switched this by mistake. So if I open up Notepad, which is open right next to G menu, clicking on NK rollover should give you NK rollover. So if I press ASDF JKL semi, I should get 8 keys, but I only get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It didn't register all the keys. That's because they messed up. If you click on standard key mode, now it's NK rollover. So here we go once again, ASDF JKL semi, and it registered all the keys. So if I press a whole bunch of keys like this, it registers everything. And if we go to NK rollover, which they made a mistake on, and I press, it only registered 6 keys. So I'm 100% positive that they switched these around. You can also customize keys by pressing one and selecting what you want it to do. Typically you want to make a macro. So let me show you the macro first. So on the top, you can head to macro. Do you want? Nah, let's not. So here are our current macros. We have 4 of them, but I want to make a new one. So let's add, and we can record one. Let's call this one testing. Now, once you start recording, it'll record everything, including the time that you wait before you press a key. So make sure that is what you want. Let's do ASDF spacebar. Start, ASDF 1 second, spacebar, and stop. And saving this, we'll save it as a macro. We called it testing. We're going to go back to the keyboard and set this F key, for example, macro manager, and set it to the macro called testing. I won't even want to repeat it once. You can do it until you release the macro key, but I just want to do it once this time. And now it's highlighted. And if I open up Notepad and I press the letter F, it'll do ASDF and then the spacebar after like 1 second. So it does exactly as this F key is customized for. Let's get rid of this macro by clicking on it and resetting it by clicking on preset button, and it'll remove that. There's a cool thing you can do with these profiles, which is click on these 3 letters and click on associate. It associates your profile with a program. So for example, I have it set to whenever I launch the Subnautica game, which is under, in my computer, Windows Program Files, Games, and Subnautica. When I launch that game, it starts up this lighting sequence, which is really, really cool. And here, let me show you how this works. Let's say that typically I like to use the sea green color, and as long as you have G menu open, when you start the game Subnautica, it'll change from this sea green to the Subnautica colors. You see that? Ah, pretty slick. Now the colors change to my red WASD and the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 keys in yellow. So once I quit this game, it goes back to my sea green. This is awesome. Here's the one negative thing. There is no option for deleting a profile. None that I found anyway. You shouldn't make too many profiles because you'll start to lose track of what's what. But then again, this software still seems to be under construction. And that's pretty much it for the G menu customization software for AOC. And that's our look into the AOC GK500 mechanical gaming keyboard. Quite affordable for $50. The switches are really nice to type on, and the only thing that might keep me from buying this is the tinging noise. The frame is too hollow, and that pitch bothers my ears after a while. But for people who have their headphones on for the majority of their gaming session or typing session, it may not matter to you. I'd say that the AOC software tool isn't quite ready, but it does a decent job in customizing the important bits. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to check out prices, we will leave Amazon affiliate links down below in the notes. And if you haven't yet, please take a moment now to subscribe to the First Look with 2 zeros, YouTube channel. We'll see you again next time.